Well, the White House says a deal between Israel and Hamas on a ceasefire and hostage release in Gaza is, quote, as close as it's ever been.
The United States, Qatar and Egypt have called on the state of Israel and Hamas to resume talks in order to finalize a ceasefire and a hostage release deal in the Gaza Strip.
Conflicts have far-reaching consequences, not only for the countries directly involved, but also for the global economy. The recent escalation between Israel and Hamas has brought significant economic challenges, affecting everything from energy prices to supply chains. In this video, we'll explore how this conflict is contributing to global inflation. The Israel-Hamas conflict is a long-standing and deeply rooted geopolitical issue characterized by periodic escalations of violence. Hamas, a Palestinian militant organization, has been in control of the Gaza Strip since 2007. The conflict with Israel involves rocket attacks, military operations, and significant civilian casualties on both sides. The most recent flare-up in 2023 resulted in severe humanitarian crisis, destruction of infrastructure, and heightened political tensions. This conflict has not only regional implications, but also global economic repercussions. Before we delve into the specifics of the Israel-Hamas conflict, let's briefly discuss how conflicts in general can influence inflation. Conflicts, especially in regions rich in oil and gas, can disrupt supply and lead to higher energy prices. Energy costs are a significant component of overall inflation. Conflicts can disrupt global supply chains, causing shortages and increasing the cost of goods. Geopolitical instability often leads to market volatility and reduced investor confidence, which can impact currency values and inflation rates. Increased military spending and reconstruction efforts can lead to higher government deficits and inflationary pressures. The Middle East is a critical region for global energy supplies. Although Israel and Gaza are not major oil producers, conflicts in the region can create broader geopolitical instability that affects oil prices. According to data from the International Energy Agency, IEA, the price of Brent crude oil spiked by 15% in the aftermath of the 2023 Israel-Hamas conflict. This increase was driven by fears of potential disruptions in supply routes and the broader uncertainty in the region. The European energy market, already strained by other geopolitical issues, saw a 20% increase in natural gas prices in 2023 due to concerns over supply security. This had a cascading effect on energy prices worldwide, contributing to higher inflation rates. In many countries, electricity prices are closely tied to the cost of natural gas. Data from the European Commission showed that electricity prices in the EU increased by 10% in 2023, further fueling inflation across the continent. Global supply chains are highly interconnected, and disruptions in one part of the world can have ripple effects globally. The Israel-Hamas conflict has led to significant disruptions in several key areas. The port of Ashdod, one of Israel's major ports, experienced temporary closures during the conflict. This disrupted shipping routes and led to delays in the delivery of goods, affecting global supply chains. According to a report by the World Trade Organization, WTO, these disruptions contributed to a 5% increase in shipping costs in 2023. Israel is a significant exporter of agricultural products, including fruits and vegetables. The conflict led to disruptions in agricultural exports, contributing to higher food prices globally. A study by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, reported a 7% increase in global food prices in 2023 due to these disruptions. Israel is a key player in the global semiconductor market, home to major production facilities and research centers. The conflict caused temporary shutdowns in some of these facilities, exacerbating the global semiconductor shortage. The Semiconductor Industry Association (SIA) reported a 10% increase in semiconductor prices in 2023, impacting the cost of electronics worldwide. Geopolitical conflicts often lead to market volatility as investors seek safer assets and reduce exposure to riskier markets. The Tel Aviv Stock Exchange (TASE) experienced a 10% drop in value during the height of the conflict in 2023. This volatility spread to other global markets, with the S&P 500 and other major indices experiencing fluctuations. The Israeli shekel weakened by 8% against the US dollar in 2023 due to investor concerns. This depreciation contributed to higher import costs and inflation within Israel, with potential spillover effects on global markets. As investors sought safe haven assets, the price of gold increased by 12% in 2023. This shift in investment patterns reflects broader economic uncertainty and contributes to inflationary pressures. Increased military spending and reconstruction efforts in the aftermath of conflicts can lead to higher government deficits and inflationary pressures. The Israeli government significantly increased its defense budget in 2023, allocating an additional $5 billion for military operations and defense infrastructure. This increase in spending contributed to higher public debt and inflationary pressures within the country. The Gaza Strip faced extensive damage to its infrastructure, requiring substantial reconstruction efforts. International aid and government spending on reconstruction contributed to inflationary pressures in the region. The increase in military and reconstruction spending led to larger fiscal deficits in Israel. According to the Bank of Israel, the fiscal deficit increased by 1.5% of GDP in 2023, adding to inflationary pressures through higher government borrowing and spending. The economic impact of the Israel-Hamas conflict extends beyond immediate inflationary pressures. Let's explore some broader implications. The humanitarian costs of the conflict are immense, with thousands of casualties and widespread displacement. These humanitarian crises require significant financial resources for relief and reconstruction, further straining government budgets and potentially contributing to inflation. The United Nations reported that over 200,000 people were displaced in Gaza due to the 2023 conflict. The cost of providing humanitarian aid and rebuilding homes adds to economic pressures. The destruction of schools and hospitals necessitates significant investment to restore services, contributing to long-term inflationary pressures. The long-term economic growth prospects of both Israel and Gaza are affected by the conflict. Political instability and periodic violence hinder foreign investment and economic development, leading to slower growth and persistent inflationary pressures. According to the Ministry of Finance in Israel, foreign direct investment (FDI) dropped by 20% in 2023 due to investor concerns about regional stability. The World Bank reported that the GDP growth rate in Gaza contracted by 5% in 2023, exacerbating poverty and unemployment in the region. The international community has responded to the Israel-Hamas conflict with a mix of diplomatic efforts, economic sanctions, and humanitarian aid. These responses also have economic implications. Talking about diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict and stabilize the region are crucial for reducing economic uncertainty. Successful diplomatic interventions can help restore investor confidence and stabilize markets. The European Union and the United Nations have been actively involved in mediating peace talks, aiming to de-escalate tensions and promote long-term stability. Ceasefire agreements, while temporary, can provide relief and allow for the rebuilding of infrastructure, aiding economic recovery. Talking about economic sanctions imposed on entities involved in the conflict can have wide-ranging economic effects. Sanctions can disrupt trade and financial flows, leading to higher costs and inflation. Trade restrictions, sanctions on Hamas and related entities have impacted trade flows, particularly affecting the availability and cost of goods in Gaza. Financial sanctions. Sanctions on financial institutions associated with the conflict have created challenges for international transactions, contributing to market volatility. International humanitarian aid plays a critical role in addressing the immediate needs of those affected by the conflict. However, the financial costs of aid and reconstruction can contribute to inflationary pressures in donor countries. Countries like the United States, the European Union, and various international organizations have pledged billions in humanitarian aid to support the rebuilding efforts in Gaza. The allocation of substantial aid resources can strain the budgets of donor countries, potentially leading to inflationary pressures domestically. The Israel-Hamas conflict has significant and far-reaching economic consequences, contributing to global inflation through higher energy prices, disrupted supply chains, market volatility, and increased government spending. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for policymakers, investors, and the general public. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the economic implications of the Israel-Hamas conflict. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.